Nick, before we get into all the roster decisions and all that, this is the first offseason where your contract is a topic of conversation. How important is it for you to get a deal done before the start of next season, and where are things standing with that?
Yeah, these things will take care of themselves. I'm not too concerned about it. I mean, and so I don't really get into contracts with anybody. I'm not going to get into it on this one, and so it'll happen. It'll take care of itself.
Nick, we've seen you guys, especially last year, use a lot of young players in predominant roles. Has anything shifted for you philosophically when it comes to that?
No, I mean, it's about finding out what players do well, and that's something you need to be around them to do. Like you're able to see what they do well on tape, but there's another extension of that of when you get around them, you get a greater understanding. And so it's finding out what these guys do well and being able to put them in positions to succeed and do different things to help them develop and practice. With some of the new faces that will be starting on our team next year, I'm excited about that. These guys, when you're in a program that has been successful, what you notice about the guys that have been waiting for their opportunity to play, or new faces that are coming in, getting an opportunity to play on the Philadelphia Eagles, there's just this hunger. And so I'm excited about the new faces that are going to be able to contribute and get their opportunity to do some things with the loss of some of these guys. So it's really a great challenge and a great opportunity for a lot of these guys to go out there, and I know I'll see hunger and desire and just this, hey, now it's my turn to go out there and perform.
How do you feel in the right guard? Your additions to your coaching staff, just with Scott at quarterback, particularly, what was about that hire, and just thoughts on him?
Yeah, just you do a lot of work. You interview a lot of different guys. You cast a very wide net in the attempts to find the right person. And there was a lot of good candidates that we interviewed. Scott stood out. Probably called a ton of guys. We called a ton of guys to. Not only the interview process, but then the vetting process at the end to call the guys to see what he's like, and it just kept coming back. This guy's obsessed with football, loves football. It's just a grinder and just very knowledgeable on the quarterback play. And we're able to get some new, fresh ideas from him and the things that he's done as the head coach at Bowling Green and in prior times before that. And so really excited about the addition of Scott.
What's your view that he brings us?
We'll see. Yeah, you'll see. Like, not going to get specific into that. I mean, fresh ideas. Like, obviously, we hired him to be the quarterback coach and to continue to develop, help Jalen Hurts continue to rise. And he's an expert at quarterback play. I mean, again, like I said, he's just obsessed with football. But the new ideas, what I was speaking of with new ideas, are some of the things that they ran offensively that just give us fresh thoughts into our offense.
Nick, have you been lobbying other coaches for a pro touch-push vote?
I'm sorry?
Have you been lobbying other coaches for a pro touch-push vote, and where do you think things stand right now?
Yeah, we'll see. I think today will tell a lot. I think you guys know my opinion on it. I'm not going to continue to dive into my opinion is very well documented, and I won't continue to dive into that. I think we would talk. I think maybe that's why there's so many cameras here today to talk about that. But I still stand where I stood, and when we talked at the combine, and we'll see how it goes down. Have I been lobbying? I've talked to a couple people, yeah, but we'll see how it goes today.
Did you ever expect when you came up with that concept that it was going to be something so controversial?
No, I don't think so. We're just trying to win football games and trying to get first downs. It was a cool evolution of the play. As I think back, we had a lot of success with it in Indy with Jacoby Brissett, particularly. He would come in for Andrew Luck to do some of those with Andrew coming off of an injury. And then, he would do this. He did it when he started in 2019, and then 2020 when we had Phillip Rivers, he was a specialist in that as well. And he went in for Phillip like he did Andrew. And then, in 2021, it wasn't, we didn't run a lot. I think we were 13 of 14 for it. But one of those in that time, we motioned Dallas Goedert into the backfield and gave him a little extra help. And now we had seen that on tape from somewhere, and that led us into 2022, where we ended we played Detroit. That's all right. We played Detroit, and we ended the game with a quarterback sneak. Wasn't anybody pushing, but we ended the game on a 4th and 1. I think we were up 38-35 with a quarterback sneak to be able to kneel it out. And then kind of from there, it was like, that was a pretty important quarterback sneak that happened. Let's make sure we get him, and so that kind of evolved from there. We did different formations, different pushers, and then we turned it into 2 pushers, and it was a cool evolution. And then what happened was, all the compliments that come off of it, and all the cool things that you can do off of it. It's a very our job as coaches is to be able to mesh things that look alike, together to create explosive plays. You try to do that with your run game to your play action. You try to do that with your quarterback sneak play to your gadgety type plays. And I think it's an exciting play. It was really cool to hear some people talk about it this week and what they think of it, like of the excitement that it brings to the game.
You've made the point that there's no injury data associated with it. There haven't been injuries.
I didn't make that point. They did.
Right.
Yeah.
But then sort of the counterpoint that the others have made seems to be there's injury concerns about it because of the nature of it and the forces. I mean, do you think that those concerns are valid at all? Do you have anything?
Just, again, I know what the data says, and I know how we coach it, and we don't coach a push play any different than we coach a quarterback sneak play. So, that if, it's, again, the injury data says what it says, and we coach it the exact same whether somebody's pushing or whether somebody's not pushing. And I know that play's been I think somebody said something about Bart Starr running the play a long time ago, so that play's been in for a very long time. There's probably a lot of injury. There's probably enough data on that play to get information from.
Nick, one of the things Sean McDermott said was that the force from pushing adds a whole lot of injury risk to the play. I mean, have you seen that? Or
again, I think we were healthy on the play. I believe that whole entire NFL was healthy on the play. So I always want to have players' health first and foremost in our mind. And so, you have to trust the doctors and stuff like that on those scenarios, but you always want to do what's best for the players first and foremost.
Yeah, you were talking about the hunger of young guys. You hear sometimes after winning a Super Bowl that hunger might not be the same, the disease of more, stuff like that. How much thought have you given to asking for sacrifice from guys and changing your messaging after having been to the mountaintop?
It's actually, in my experience, going back to Mount Union, hunger was the winning, and winning it all produced more. You just got the taste of what winning was, and it produced more. Now I know it's a different time, early 2000s, and different level of play with professional football as opposed to college football, but those guys, again, those young guys that didn't. Everybody contributed to that win, but some guys, had more playing time, had more role, had a bigger role or whatnot, and so those guys that didn't get to play, I know that as much, that getting there and being like, man, I need to be out there. That does something to these guys, and so I've experienced the opposite with that, with just the hunger to continue to excel. In there, and we'll get to a point. We're to a point now where the celebration is over, right? The celebration of the Super Bowl is over, and I know that there'll be people. I know BG and Saquon throughout the first pitch, and then we'll have our ring ceremony and all that. But our preparation is here. Celebration is over. Preparation is here, and there's nothing like getting back in there and starting to work again. And because if you with our team and the leaders that we have on this football team, if you're not busting your butt and giving everything you got, you'll be exposed. And that's why we value these guys so much. Try not to work hard in front of Saquon Barkley or Jalen Hurts, and they'll be on you.
What's that going to look like this offseason, though? Because you had a longer offseason program last year, more OTAs, mandatory minicamp. Are you going to continue that, or will it go back to what it was 2 years ago?
Well, the way the league year is it was a little bit longer. And so I think our schedule will come out here shortly, but we'll end up doing similar to what we did last year. And again, I always have to be aware of, how far we went into the season, and I can regulate that with practice time, this and that. But, we'll see where we are. Things can change based off where we are when the players get in and all those different things, but it'll be pretty similar.
Speaking of leaders on the team, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, someone you've been very complimentary of and what he brings to the team as a leader. The decision to trade him, how hard was that to remove him from the locker room?
Yeah, obviously Chauncey's contributions to this football team were awesome. All right, he brings a lot of energy, makes a lot of plays. I love him. Wish him the best, and I've had good experience with him for 2 years, even though there was time off in between there. And so I think that a lot is said on his energy, and of course he's got great energy every day. He loves football. He loves to play the game on Sunday, and he brings great energy. I think with that is we have a lot of defensive guys that play with an edge, that play with great energy. I think Jalen Carter comes to mind. Nolan Smith. I think you guys have heard me talk about him, about how much energy and effort that he plays with. Coop, was young obviously last year, but he plays with a great deal of passion and energy and edge. Quinyon plays with a great deal of edge. Nakobe Dean, I think you can always see him talking to the guys. I just watched that little mini movie that our team put out, and he's always talking to the guys and firing them up, and plays with an edge and plays with nastiness. And so we have a lot of guys on that defensive side that will be able to continue to bring what Chauncey brought. But wish Chauncey the best, and I love him, and we'll obviously miss him. But we'll bring some opportunity for some other guys as well.
How do you plan on replacing him at safety?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We have some good options right now, and obviously the off season's not over. You can continue to add guys. We have a draft coming up. We have as you guys know, we've added. I think when we added Chauncey, that was the week after training camp, the first time. And so long off season thing. We'll see where that goes. But I think we have some good in-house candidates to be able to do that. And then there's more time to add.
Do you want Dallas Goedert back?
I'm sorry?
Do you want Dallas Goedert back?
Right now, he's on our football team, and obviously Dallas Goedert has meant a lot to us. And we'll see how that plays out. He's a heck of a football player, heck of a leader, and I want to be able to have back as many guys as you possibly can. But that is not the reality of the NFL. We got a lot of so we'll see what happens and how that happens. But of course, you want everyone back.
Is the plan to keep Cooper?
We won a Super Bowl last year, and and everybody, like I said, everybody was responsible for that. And so anytime you have, going back to even Chauncey, anytime you have to, somebody moves on, and whether it's Sweaty, whether it's Milton, or whoever it is, obviously you did special things together, and you'll miss them along the way. So, but you want to try to hold on to as many guys as you can if it's the right, because you guys, we did something special together. But there's more to it than that.
Is Keely ready to do his starter in your mind, Keely Ringo?
Yeah, again, we'll see here. A lot of time, he's continued to get better. A lot has to happen before even next year. Like we play a game, we'll have OTAs, we'll have training camp, and there's a lot of time before we play a game. So all these guys just continue to develop. That's our job as coaches is to develop players, put them in positions to succeed, and then develop them, with their fundamentals, in the weight room, just continue to get them better. So we have a lot of time before that happens.
How do you decide who starts at the front of obviously last year Tyler Sheen was at the front of the line at the start of training camp, and Gaze and Zach was at the start of the middle linebacker. How do you decide who's at the front of the line?
At the beginning?
Yeah. I mean, how much do?
I mean, there's so much that happens before you step out onto the first game of the year. You have so many practices. You have so many lifting sessions, so many classroom meetings, and it just kind of sorts itself out. You have constant discussion about it. Hey, does the depth chart look the way we want it to? Yeah, 1 week doesn't define you, but it's a combination of all the weeks combined before you step out into the practice field of who's going to be out there first.
Is the plan to keep Coop in the slot, or is he going to get a chance to compete on the outside?
Yeah, we'll see where all that is. He did a phenomenal job last year inside, and a lot has to play out. Versatility is something we really value. Back there in the secondary and the offensive line, being able to do multiple things just, adds value to the football team. So we'll see how that goes.
The right guard spot.
Yeah, again, a lot of time, a lot more to be able to do, through the draft, through offseason, and happy with some of the new additions that we got. Obviously, we'll miss Makai and all the things that he contributed. Again, you'd love to keep everybody. That's just not the reality of the NFL. And you also have attachment. I have an attachment to him, as far as the special things we were able to do together. But again, we'll wish him the best. But we got some good options in house, I believe, and we have more time to add. I think that's really the answer to any of the questions of what are you going to do at safety, what are you going to do at, I mean, we have, I feel like Howie's done such a good job of adding depth. I love these new guys that we got in here. I'm beyond excited about the, Avery Williams, Ojolari, Uche. I'm beyond excited. The offensive line additions that we made, and I don't want to miss somebody. All these guys, like every single one of these guys we brought in, the tight ends, Granson and Bryant, AJ Dillon, I'm beyond excited about the opportunity that these guys have and the talent that these guys have to go out there, and a lot of those guys are 1 year deal. Adoree Jackson, a lot of these guys are 1 year deals, and we saw how that worked out for Zach Vaughn last year. We saw how that worked out for Mekhi Becton last year. We saw how that worked out for Isaiah Rodgers last year. I'm missing somebody? Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm beyond excited about the additional pieces that we've added because, there's some special guys there. Again, I can't say enough about Avery Williams and just what I think of him and the things that we could do with him and what he's going to bring to this football team. Just really pumped.
Nick, how have you gone about approaching staying ahead of the defensive coordinators because I know about how successful you guys are on offense, specifically on the ground. What did you learn 2 years ago? Maybe you guys struggling in that regard.
Yeah, you try to you go through your process every year, but it's important that you continue to develop your process. So one thing that we do when we study new concepts the following year, you always want to kind of gather information of where you struggled and what things you struggled at, and how you can get, is that something that you need to eliminate from your offense, or is that something that you need to dig and find and get better at? And then there's you watch so much tape on players, and you get ideas from college film. You get ideas from when you watch free agents, and you go through that and you say, hey, this looks like something that could complement things that we do well, or hey, they do a really good job of this, of what we really do a good job of. Let's see what we can do there. You have notes written down from your entire year that say, hey, make sure you look and study this particular thing. The Iowa State coaches and us are going to get together on some things. Excited about that just because of the relationship I have with Matt Campbell. And so, again, you're trying to see how you can do the things better. Again, just a big list of things that you do, and you can't do everything, but you gather a list and you try to decide what are the things that you did well, that you want to continue to develop. What you didn't do well, and all the things that you want to study from that. And so that's, again, I feel like when you're constantly trying to improve your process, we're a little bit better today than we were 2 years ago. Coming off that, I think we started off pretty hot 2 years ago. It just, if going back to the 23 season, and, we didn't end well. And so you always got to be in front of things because, everyone's going to be watching us. Everyone's going to be watching the Commanders. Everybody's going to be watching the Lions. And we all understand that and know that we have to, continue to rise. And, I have a niece who's in 7th grade, was the starting guard on the varsity basketball team in 7th grade. And she ended up being the player of the year in the conference, my brother's daughter. And I called her after she was named player of the year in the conference amongst seniors and juniors, and I said, hey, the better you get, the harder you have to work. And because if you stay exactly the same, like you averaged 17 a game last year, if you stay exactly the same, you're going to average 12 a game next year because they're going to be on to you and figure you out. So you got to continue to get better, and that's what we'll continue to show.
How do you see
receivers, big contracts with Devontae and AJ? What did you feel like was the key to the way you guys were able to build the rest of your roster, knowing that those two guys were taking up a big part of your job?
Yeah, Howie does a great job at all that and handling all that. My job is to evaluate guys and tell Howie what I think of them, and his job is to be able to figure out how many we can keep, as many of those guys we can, and he's done an awesome job of that. There's nobody better in the NFL than Howie, and so that'd probably be a better question for him, but I'm sure glad he's the GM of this football team. I can't be great without the greatness of others.
What are us in Detroit getting with Avonte Maddox?
Oh man, yeah, I love Avonte. I've been together for 4 years, and obviously he's a Detroit guy. Awesome when you can go and play back in your hometown. You're getting a gritty guy who loves football, who's tough, who's nasty, who's a great teammate. Sure we'll miss him.
Kevin has been your right-hand man for a while, obviously. How is your relationship different now that he's the offensive coordinator?
I don't think it's different. Obviously, Kevin. If you all saw last year, like Kellen didn't go anywhere without Kevin, and Kevin didn't go anywhere without Kellen. I was actually a little jealous of the relationship. I got iced out a little bit. And that's how Kevin was for Shane, and that's how Kevin was for Brian, and now it's Kevin's show. And really, when I talk about hunger too, I see it every single day in Kevin Patullo, him coming into my office and like, hey, we're gonna think about this, and like he's so hungry and ready for this job. I'm just been so impressed by how he's handled it so far. Now his story is to be determined and has yet to be written, but. The hunger there, because it's now his turn and his name's on it, and it's his ideas, not just the collection of his ideas, which has been in the past, but his ideas with the collection of other guys and that are behind him. So the relationship hasn't changed though. It hasn't changed at all. Yeah. All right. Well, yes.
If they told you you had to run a standard quarterback sneak, push going, do you think you guys would still be the best in the league at running a quarterback sneak?
Yeah, I mean, I don't get into hypotheticals. We'd be good at it, no doubt, because we got really good players that, again, you don't coach. I think somebody said something the other day like, well, you coach the push different. The push just has extra push. Like everything else is coached exactly the same. And so we got a lot of reps at it. We've been really successful at it. I think we'd be able to be successful either way. But I think there's a lot of exciting things, again, that can happen off the push.
How do you see A.J. Dillon's role, and how valuable can he be, kind of complementing Saquon?
Yeah, I think, that will be determined. Obviously, Saquon is a phenomenal player, maybe the best player in the NFL this year, right? And we'll continue to use him how we use him, and then I think you could see similar things that Kenny Gainwell did or Will Shipley did, and and we'll see how that role defines itself. We're excited about the player and the things that he brings and the person that he is. And then again, sometimes you see the value of the player and the ways that you think you can use them, and then you get in there and get your hands on them. You start working with them, and that kind of defines itself. So we'll see.
What are your thoughts about the White House visit? And have you ever been? Are you excited?
No, I'm really excited to go. Yeah, what an honor. What an honor to be able to go to the White House. Teams that have been winning the championship have been doing that for a long time, and I'm really honored to go and really excited to go.
Are you a fan of McDonald's?
Tyler's team's been in that competition the last couple of years. I guess, what does he have to show you to earn the job?
Say that one more time.
Tyler's team, he's been in the competition the last couple of years. What does he have to show?
Yeah, again, everybody that's fighting for a position has to show they're consistent, that they're able to communicate with the guy next to them, that they're able to play at a very high level on a good football team, and not miss a beat there. And so, excited about Tyler, and he's a guy that we're excited about in the room with an opportunity to be able to do some great things, and we'll see how it goes.
What feedback did you get in the exit meetings with the players about what worked last year?
I value those meetings so much with the coaches, with the players. I think one thing that was pretty consistent was the team, the connection, the team. Just really cool to hear how they talk about each other, how they think about each other, and that felt like the most consistent. What went well, what didn't go well. The most consistent thing was just, again, how much these guys cared and appreciated each other and the team that we were. But one thing that I constantly think that I have to think about is how do you recapture that? How do you recapture that? And that will be the goal, is to recapture that team, a team that, because as we watch the Final Four this weekend, we're going to see these teams and they're going to get interviewed after the game, and I can tell you, I know exactly what's going to come out of their mouth. Well, no one's as close as we are. We love each other. We fight for each other. That's the beauty of team sports, and you have to recapture that each and every year. Just like you have to, recapture the things on the field and keep schemes fresh and added to it and different things like that. It's the same thing with your culture. It takes daily work. I won't say watered again, because you guys didn't like that last time I said that 4 years ago. But it takes daily work and daily preparation and daily.
You mentioned earlier about how Scott.
Just curious what kind of player the Patriots are getting and how crucial is he?
Yeah, everybody's important to the run. That's the message of a team sport. Everybody's majorly important. Milton is certainly that. Great teammate. Again, you go through seasons like we've went through here, and the ups and downs, you get close to these guys. So again, you hate to lose anybody, but super happy for Milt and his family, and excited to see him continue his journey in the NFL. But great person, great family. Love his family, and great teammate and heck of a football player.
Brandon Graham retiring, Slay leaving in free agency. Who do you envision on the defense being able to step up into more of a leadership role?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of different options. I think we have a lot of different options. I can't tell you again how much I think of Nolan Smith and the toughness and the effort and the physicality that he brings, and you know, he's comfortable talking a lot. That's for sure. You know, Coop comes to mind. Zach Bond comes to mind. Nakobe Dean comes to mind. Like, there's a lot of good options. Quinyon, Reed. I don't want to leave anybody out, but like, you know, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, like all these guys have the ability to do that. And then, you know, even last year, you know, Zach Bond, as he continued to play and play at a high level, his voice was heard throughout. So, you know, could have a lot of those with some of these guys that we just brought in. You know, you know the player, you know the person, the guys we bring in, but again, you know, there's a lot to be determined, and just with their skill set, but it's also with their leadership. So we'll see how that plays itself out as well.
You mentioned earlier a little bit about what Scott will bring to Jalen on the quarterback side. Just kind of going through that, another coaching cycle for Jalen. Like, how early are y'all into kind of broaching him with new ideas? Or, I mean, he seems like a guy that's probably going to call you up even today. How because you're probably still putting together the kind of things you want to do.
Well, the reason this isn't new to Jalen, all this isn't new to Jalen, is because Jalen's been highly successful. He's been highly successful, and when you're highly successful, you lose guys. Guys get their opportunity to go run their show, and so there has to be consistency. The consistent pieces, obviously, so far have been Jalen and I, right? That's who it's been, and so there's got to be consistency there for all the new pieces that come in, and so this isn't new to him. You know, we're allowed to start when we're allowed to start, but obviously Jalen's always chomping at the bit to get more and more information. But consistency is key. But while also growing, you know, being consistent while also growing, and so, like I said, it's not new for him, and you know, but that's why there has to be consistency within, you know, from the things that he got at Alabama, from the things he got at Oklahoma, consistency from the way we run it and the way things are called. And so there'll be that.
Are you comfortable with your backup quarterback situation? You're very two young, inexperienced guys right now.
Yeah, I'm really excited about both those guys, and Tanner, very, very excited about, and you know, and yeah, he played really well in all his opportunities he had a chance to play in front of you guys, and then we get to see him on a daily day in practice. So super excited about those two guys and what they can be.
Nick, what did Kenny Pickett mean to your quarterback run last year? What do you think he'll bring to the Browns if he gets an opportunity?
Yeah, Kenny did a great job of being able to step in and play really good football when his time was called, and you know, helped us win a game, helped us be in position to win a game against Washington, helped us win a game against the Cowboys, and you know, we felt very comfortable, you know, with him as our backup, that if he had to go into the game, which he did, that he'd be able to succeed and put our team in with an opportunity to win, which he did. And so, good teammate. You know, again, you go through a year like we just went through, and I talked earlier about what was the common thread of the messaging at the end of the year from the team, and it's team. And so he's a great teammate, and so a great person, great football player. Yeah, you're getting a good man.
Last one, guys. Position room will Avery Williams.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We still got some time to figure that out. We'll see how that goes. We got some time to figure it out, but obviously the things that he brings in special teams is huge. And you know, again, I'm excited about all that he can bring with the versatility he has offensively. You know, yes, offensively, and all the things that he can do. Again, just my interaction with him was top notch, and I'm really excited to start working with him.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.